Finally, week one is upon us. Welcome to NBL Overtime. All thanks to LD Mobile. I'm Cam Luke, and I am pumped, as I am assuming you are at home right now. Only a couple more sleeps, and finally, NBL 21 can get underway. We did all thanks to LD Mobile. There's so much going on, so I won't waste any more time talking about how excited I am. Homicide, hello.
What's going on?
Look at you, man.
You know the vibes. You just said it. A couple more sleeps, and it's on and popping. NBL 21.
That's how I knew the season was so close when I rolled it in. You dressed like this?
Dress how you want to be addressed. You know the vibes.
Liam Santa Maria, we can't wait. We've been waiting. We have not missed an episode of NBL Overtime the entire way through the off-season, and finally we can talk about a game.
It feels good, doesn't it? It's been 10 long months. Funnily enough, it kind of feels a little bit like yesterday that grand final series was called off and the Wildcats took the championship. But here we are, 3 more sleeps, and it's go time.
And we've got predictions, we've got week one, I've got an idea, we've got so much to get into. But like so much in 2021, and of course 2020, we're going to start a bit upside down. We're going to talk about week 2 because it has just been released. This is the way of the world and the way of the NBL, that as we continue to work our way through it, we've got to work through almost week by week who's going to play who. So let's look at week 2 next week. They've just been thrown towards us. The Adelaide 36ers will host the Phoenix to open it. Brisbane and the Hawks. Adelaide and again against the Breakers. There we go, boys. What do you make of it at first thoughts? Only a couple of moments ago, John.
Well, it's nice to get the Wildcats and the Breakers, two genuine championship contenders heading into the season, getting their schedules underway. They're going to be sitting and watching round 1, and they're going to get involved. New Zealand in Adelaide, Perth at home against Southeast Melbourne. Of course, more games in Cairns, more games in Adelaide. Brisbane doubling up against the Hawks. And nice to get the round 2 schedule out there ahead of round 1.
Look, I'm just excited that basketball is back, just like everybody else watching this show and on this panel. So I'm excited for every game.
We're going to see week 1 first, obviously, but Cairns at the Snag Pit, which is really starting to take off, and I love it. And the very fact is that they have got these home games. And if you remember back to 12 months ago, they didn't start exactly on fire. They took a little while to get going. Of course, went to Perth and did what they did earlier in the year, and it almost changed their fortunes. They've got Machado, they've got Oliver, they've got Quatnoy, they've got a lot of that old crew back. To have home games early could be a huge advantage for this team that many people, and we'll get top 4 predictions shortly, but many people expect to have a really good year.
For sure. I wrote recently about what each team needs to do with their roster. Well, their roster's been locked and loaded for a while now. What they need this season, and I wrote this, is they need to turn the Snag Pit into a fortress. Just like the Cairns Convention Centre was for them last year and has been for that club historically. So, yes, it's a big opportunity to get off to a fast start, but it's also, these are wins they must get. They have to have a kick-butt record at home this year if they're going to contend for that top spot.
And they will. I have no reason to doubt. We've seen how they represent their home court. They have some of the craziest and most passionate fans in the competition. So I have no reason to believe. And with Scott Machado running the show with Cam Oliver and company, I have no reason to believe they will not handle business.
A team we won't see in week 2 is the JackJumpers. We, of course, won't see them until next season, but they do have a head coach. Scott Roth has been announced in the last couple of days as well, and we know his CV. All across the world, heavily involved, of course, with the Perth Wildcats. He's the head coach of the JackJumpers. We won't spend hours on it because we're going to probably talk a lot about them for the next 10 or so months, but this is a huge signing for a club. You are psyched. Did I see you on social media, Homicide, saying that this is who you're going to support?
Definitely. That's the team I'm supporting. First of all, their logo and the history of the logo and how it got created got me. The digital team did an incredible job of selling that. Off of that, thousands of memberships were sold immediately. And clearly I didn't pay for a membership, but I am following them.
Hang on.
I'm just telling you I'm following them.
So hang on, have you been handed a membership? Have you got a membership?
I don't
or are you saying you haven't bought one yet?
I haven't bought one yet. I haven't been handed anything.
But you will buy one.
Of course I'm going to buy one.
Yes.
I got to get the NBL discount. Clearly I'm an employment. I'm employed by them. They got to give me the friends and family discount. It's only right. But I need some gear. I need some JackJumpers gear. I think they have the best logo. And I love the colors, obviously similar to Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. But that's the team I'm backing.
I'm going to take it one step further for you, Corey. And this goes out to Simon Brookhouse, the CEO of the JackJumpers. I think we make our man here the number one ticket holder.
Number one ticket holder.
Right out of the gate, let's get it popping.
I agree.
Let's get it going.
and you can come out here
I'm
and
with you.
represent.
And you can just get free, I'm not going to say family and friends, but I'd say a heavily discounted price on that zip line that you went on when NBL Overtime went on tour
Roll
at
the
the
footage.
Blitz a couple of years ago. So, if you're the number one member of the JackJumpers, that straight up means that zip line discount at least 12, maybe 15%. That's great news. So is Scott Roth. But I do want to ask you, because every time that there's a head coaching vacancy, there is a really deep, this is where Australian basketball is right now. There's a deep pool of candidates who just miss. Who was part of that kind of crew that might have just been next in line?
Yeah, well, I mean, it did get tight down the end there. They talked to a whole bunch of people, right? Phil Handy, we spoke about him on NBL Overtime a little while. They really wanted him and couldn't quite make that happen. But there were some really good candidates down the pointy end of proceedings. We talk about other assistant coaches around the league. Judd Flavel from Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, Jamie O'Loughlin, those guys who's doing good work in Cairns. They're going to be good head coaches in the league at some point. And both got interviews. Anthony Stewart got an interview as well, so I'm understanding he was pretty impressive throughout the process. Another guy, Dean Cooper, ex-Chicago Bulls assistant coach, was in the mix as well. So a good pool of candidates right at the end. Also, lots of people spoken to early on, and Scott Roth is the man that they hired. And he has a lot of experience, right? NBA, G League, NBL now with the Wildcats, FIBA with the Chinese national team. And I will flag, it's a big loss for the Wildcats. We sat in ahead of last season when they lost Adam Ford and Matt Nielsen and said, boy, how are they going to replace those guys? Especially Matt Nielsen. You know, that arm around the shoulder guy, that conduit between Trevor Gleeson and the players. Scott Roth was that guy for the Wildcats last season, and they're not going to have him this time around. Not
exactly a huge yes or no question here, but Anthony Stewart, you and I spoke to him on NBL Rewind in the off-season. He was so excited and so keen to get involved. While he didn't get this job, and you mentioned there that he obviously interviewed really well, do you expect him to be involved in some way?
I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm an assistant coach, and he can build his resume from there.
All right, Simon. What? Do they have to pay for you to go down to some home games, or will you do that yourself?
They got to pay.
Okay, there you go. All right, hey, while we continue to talk about, we'll get to week one very shortly, predictions and all the rest of it. We can't let the very fact that LaMelo Ball is balling out right now. Of course, the youngest man to ever have a triple-double in NBL history just over 12 months ago. Homicide, take the floor because he was able to do it. He looks really good.
All right, here's the thing. There's a reason why Puma gave him $100 million and a jet. Off the bench in a back-to-back, he was able to get a triple-double. The youngest player in the NBA history to do it. I'm not surprised, though. He damn near averaged a triple-double in the NBL, 17, 7, and 7. Mm-hmm. Okay? It took him 9 games. The best thing that could have ever happened was coming to Australia to play in the NBL in the Next Stars program. That program is genius. It really is. Shout out to Jeremy, shout out to Larry, because that was the platform that gave him the opportunity to show all of this. This is great to see, but we saw this last year in 12 games where he ended it in historic back-to-back triple-doubles. The most impressive thing is it is very difficult to get a triple-double overseas. Mm-hmm. You cannot dribble. You can dribble here. At some point, they're going to have to put him in the starting lineup. Devontae Graham, you're going to have to move over. You're a good player, but this right here is the face of the franchise. The biggest issue Michael Jordan has ever had, Sir Highness, the Royal Airness himself, front office decision-making. He nailed it here. And there's a lot of talk. When I talk about this kid, there's a lot of things being said, and I entertain it. It's cool. But what I want to say is this. Puma basketball, let's really get it popping. I'm a vessel. Use me. I'm talking to Jay himself. Big homie, what's good? Emery, what's up? OG Juan, let's get it popping. Sham, you know the vibes. JJ, you know the vibes. Jalen, what's good? We out here. Let's get it popping. Puma lifestyle, Puma basketball. Holla at me. And I'm done talking.
We'll cut that up and you can grab that again on Homicide Socials. I like it. You got anything, Liam, before we move on? He's been great and he's actually, while he hasn't set the world on fire shooting-wise, he shot the ball better early than I think a lot of people expect.
This is Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
This is Rookie of the Year. Sorry, Liam.
No, you good, man.
This is Rookie of the Year.
I love it. I love the energy, and I love the way they've handled him in the early going.
Yeah.
You know, Corey's right. It's time now to sort of roll him out because he's got his feet underneath him. He's feeling comfortable, but they took the pressure off. Rozier and Gray and Rock, keep those guys in the starting lineup to begin with. Let him get a few games under his belt. Now he gets a triple-double off the bench. It's go time. Let him rock.
Off the bench. Who's doing that on the second leg of the back-to-back? And think about this. Game 1 against his brother, he was 1 assist away from the triple-double. The coach took him out. And what does he do? Back it up the next night. Both got big wins. I'm telling you, man, it's time. It's time.
We speak so much about the Next Stars program, as Homicide just brought up, but we know how successful it is, and we got to see 2 of them go head-to-head in a preseason game over the weekend. Giddy and King. We're both excited about what these young Australians are going to be able to do. We only really, I'll speak for myself here, expect to see them for 1 NBL season, but they went head-to-head. Liam, Giddy just looked assured off the tip. Talk to me about this.
Well, it's a great segue because LaMelo and RJ, those guys doing well in the NBA is only going to be good news for these guys as they impress this season in NBL 21. And make no mistake, Josh Giddey's like a LaMelo Ball light.
Let's go!
Right now, look at him get up in traffic and throw it down. I love his aggressiveness. Big point guard, can see over the defense, can get to the rim. If he can start knocking it down consistently, he's going to be even more and more impressive over the course of the season. And Adelaide are must-watch TV this season because of that kid right now. Now, it wasn't a big game for Mojave King, but he has impressed in a couple of preseason hitouts, and I'm excited to see what these guys can do this season.
I'm extremely excited to see them, and exactly what you said. You know, a lot of times I talk to a lot of people. On the record, off the record, in their face, on the phone, DMs.
In dreams.
And in dreams as well. And the biggest thing, I reached out to both of these young men and I said to them, if you apply yourself every day, look at what just happened to the 2 young men prior to you. 6 months can change your life. Take advantage of this opportunity, this window. It closes faster than it opens. Take advantage. And that's what I told them. And to see them right now, it's early stages, but to see their aggression and the level of comfort they're having on the court, they're only both going to get better. So we here, we pushing for you, we support you, and good luck.
We spoke about this last week with Mojave King. The comfort and the confidence of both these kids at 18 years of age are showing. Mojave King wasn't as good, or at least prolific, I guess, in this game he had been the week before. And again on Thursday night, we believe in a closed-door scrimmage. But the very fact is...
Oh, you know what he had on the closed-door scrimmage? 18 points in 20 minutes. 6 of 9 from the field. 18 points in 20 minutes. Both of these guys are flat-out ballers, man. Josh Giddey had 13, 7, and 2. So these are stat fillers. Josh Giddey's going to fill each stat every night.
And they allow the game to come to them. They don't panic if things don't go their way for a couple of possessions. And I think that's a huge tick for these young men already.
We saw last season the influence of Jermaine Jackson on LaMelo Ball, right? Just so important in the year that he had. Those guys, for these 2 young men, for me, are Scott Machado and Donald Sloan.
Facts.
They need to be they need to take those guys under their wing, be the mentor, and, talk them through games. Constantly be communicating with them. Stay aggressive, young fella. Stay aggressive and help them through the season because they are the perfect kind of veterans for these 2 young fellas to have on their squads this season.
All right, quickly, we're about to get to predictions. Firstly, though, anything else from that game stand out for you, Liam?
Oh, not so much from that game. Obviously, Donald Sloan, 24 points, a good chance to see
Oh, my God. Donald Sloan ain't playing.
out there on the NBL hardwood.
Flexing, too.
Yes, sir.
I'm loving him. He's going to be one of my favorites this year.
Yeah. But I want to flex a team I'm a little concerned with in the preseason.
Who's that?
The New Zealand Breakers. They're struggling a little. They are limping into the start of the season. Great for them to have week 1 off because they've suffered a couple of big losses. They got whacked by the Phoenix the other night by 33.
What?
They were down 50 to 20
at the half.
Now, our man LP looks like he did at the start of last season. Now, we know he's going to get there, right? He cruises his way to NBL first team year after year, but he's not coming in peak condition from what I can see. And I got some concerns about Colton Iverson. I'm not sure he's the guy. He's big, but he's a bit slow. He's copping all kinds of foul issues right now, and that's a team that needs to get their act together for the start of the season.
Predictions, top 4 included, not too far away. Of course, we've all been big on the Breakers. Does that change at all? That's in about 3 or 4 minutes. But let's start. Are you ready for predictions? You ready, boys?
Let's go.
All right, let's start with Rookie of the Year. Let's start with Rookie of the Year, NBL 21.
Ooh, okay. Wow. Interesting.
Listen, Josh Giddey, I love you. Justinian Jessup is a walking bucket. Big caps.
Don't need to tell me, man. I'm with you. I'm with you. I think they are all, the 3 of them are going to have exceptional seasons and propel themselves into the NBA sooner rather than later. But the very fact is, I agree. I think Jessup is going to be really good for this team, and I like the way the Hawks play their ball, and I think it suits him.
I agree with you fellas to the extent that, geez, I tossed and turned over Jessup and Giddey because he's going to be an enormous factor. And oh my God, the stroke is just so pure. He's like the Klay Thompson of the NBL this season, no doubt about it. But the 36ers have a vested interest in Josh Giddey rocking out this season, right? So I think this is a team that over the course of the year, I don't have them winning a whole bunch of ball games. So down the back end of the season, I think a lot of it's going to become about Josh Giddey triple-double town, and we know he can fill it up. And as a result, I think he's going to get that award.
Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. Throw us your predictions as we continue to work our way through it. Let's have a look at the 6th man of the year. Liam, you're just copying me.
All right. He's going to miss the start of the season, C-Webb. But, geez, I mean, this guy was the leading scorer, if not one of the top couple leading scorers at the FIBA World Cup. A world-class scorer, going to come off the bench most likely for this team. And once he gets that feeling back in his ring finger and he starts to cut his avocados properly, I think he's going to come out and get buckets.
If he's 100%, which we can only assume he has, bought into coming off the bench to help this team, good luck. Good luck.
I agree. And I tossed and turned over this as well because I was like, well, his injury, how long is he going to be out? How long is he coming in being impactful as soon as he plays? So that played a big part in me choosing who was going to be. I know Tony Crocker's ready to go. Experienced overseas international vet that can flat out get buckets, and he has to be ready from the beginning and will be and healthy. So I gave him a nod because of that.
Each year in the NBL, a different award is like the hot race. You know, and obviously the MVP last year, year in, year out, of course, but last year it was most improved player. You know, Dane Pineau and Will Magnay, all these guys. I reckon it's going to be 6th man of the year this year. These teams are deep. You know, you look at Kyle Adnam. I think Ben Moore is going to be a smoky for 6th man of the year for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Whoever comes off the bench between Jessup and Simon with the Hawks, Clint Steindl, this is going to be a good one.
Defensive Player of the Year up next. Hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved. Who we got?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
We got 3 superstars for a start.
We got 3
incredible. We'll feel pretty happy with that.
Incredible defensive players on this.
Yep. Our man, hold on, one sec. Our man Sunday Ditch is now a superstar.
I got him as a
of the
superstar.
NBL.
You know what? Okay, I'll step. Within 2 months, we will officially dub him a superstar. I've gone 2 months early. I believe in him. I think he's going to have a hell of a year.
Okay.
I think Sunday Ditch is going to turn into the Damian Martin defensively. He has that ability. 6'3", wingspan. He comes from the Perth way of playing defense. He's guarded the GOAT. The GOAT import in practice all the time. Any point guard he's matched up with, he's given them issues all last year. I have no reason to believe he won't do that again this year.
Now, I've got to just clarify, you're right. Too often we term people superstars in all sports. I've broken my own rule. Sunday, I love you, but I'm just going to bring you back just a little bit. I think in 2 months I'll go with it again and stick with it, but just a tier below. Mitch McCarron for you.
Yeah, he's a lockdown unit at the point guard position, and he's going to have some big-time matchups across the league, of course, but he just not only is he going to lock his man down, he puts out so many fires for his team, and the point guard starting position for him is going to give him a big opportunity to just let that showcase those talents, and also, you know, he's going to have that advantage of when he does go out for a rest, his guy's not going to get off because Shea
Elliott's coming in.
Do you know what I mean? That's the worst, where you keep them to 0 for 4 and then they hit 3 in a row when you get a rest. So that's not going to happen. And you talk about Mitch Creek. We talked about MVP last year.
I did.
Mitch Creek, top 3 MVP voting this season for me.
I think too often, and this happens a lot, we look at one particular end of the court and don't give themselves enough credit. I think Mitch Creek's an outstanding defender, and I think he broke down. He fatigued, of course, he was injured late in the year, and I think it just wore him down a little bit last year. Huge extended off-season, of course, as everyone has, and I think Mitch Creek defensively will be the best player in the league.
One other thing to flag about this award this season, before we move on, my favourite thing of the preseason thus far has been Deng Adele talking his Defensive Player of the Year candidacy into existence.
I love it.
Without showing anything on the floor. It's not necessarily been a side of the ball that's been a strong suit for him this year, but by virtue of just saying he wants it, everyone's given him the big tick of approval, and people think he's in the race already.
Liam, you mentioned about a minute ago about the most improved. It was the Hot Award last year. Let's have a look at who we've predicted to be the most improved in this particular year. Oh, what no, I do like that idea. Froling, and I've had the big man coming off the bench from Melbourne United.
Look at the energy from Kawhi. Always, he's like, Liam, just keep it under wraps for now. We came in hot ahead of the rookie campaign. I started talking about Joe Ingles and the like, but this year he's trying to keep it on the lowdown. Hey, he's a chance to take all of that DJ Newble action from last season at the offensive end. Boy, he looks sharp.
He looks really good
in the preseason, catching and splashing from long range, always in attack mode. If he stays healthy, I think he's going to put up some massive numbers.
Look, I agree. Just exactly like that image looks. I know he's about his business, but one man that I am looking forward to bouncing back in a huge way is Harry Froling. He's going to have an opportunity to get big minutes and a fresh start in a new part of Australia, playing under Lamanis, and he knows he has the ability to compete and play at the next level, which is the NBA. That's his goal, and he has to, this season, turn the corner and bounce back from last season.
And the fact is, it's hard to deny, he's in the best shape he's probably been in his NBL career. He played QBL in the off-season as well to get a little bit of run in there, and this is his opportunity. We've been waiting for 3 years for him to really explode. And now's the perfect time, the platform, the team, and everything to go at it. I've got the big fella. Someone got in my ear late last week and said the big man, who was pretty good in patches last year when given a chance, has been really good going up against Jock Landale at training or practice a couple of weeks ago now. And the very fact is that I think he will continue to improve, and I think he'll be good.
Was that little birdie CG43 on the third tee?
It most certainly was not. but this particular birdie's son is a next star. Where are we? Wow. Coach of the Year style. Let's get into our Coach of the Year.
What does Leonard King know about Joe Luala-Chula and his preseason form?
Where are we? Coach of the Year. There we go. Look, in the end, we might be giving a little indication of who we're going to have predicting in our top 4. Mitchell, Vickerman and Shamir, 3 men who know exactly what to do when it comes to getting their team humming along nicely.
It is a little window into my top 4 predictions, which we'll have a look at in a sec. But yeah, I reckon the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix are going to be the big improvers from last season. Second last, lost, I think, 17 of their last 19 games last season, but showed a little bit and have had a long, hard preseason to get things rocking, and I like the way they're looking heading into the year. And I think as a result, Simon Mitchell, he's put a big focus on improving at the defensive end of the floor. I think they're going to win a bunch of games this season and be right in the mix for the top 4, and that will give him this award.
A man who knows about Coach of the Year, Dean Vickerman, homicide for you?
This man, this is the best team he's had since winning the championship. And I know he knows it, and I know they know it and feel it. This is going to be the year they're going to have the most success in the regular season that they've had. Even in their championship run, I believe that. And it's going to be because he's at the helm.
Dan Shamir for me. I'm not certain New Zealand can. I'm not a huge home court advantage type of person, but I'm also wary of the fact that right now it looks like they might be out of their home country for the entire season. I think they're going to be really good. You'll see my top four in a moment. They're going to figure, and I think people will look at it and go, this bloke, even if they don't win it, has done an incredible job to get this team playing as well as they are.
Just quickly, before we move on from Coach of the Year, shout out to Dean Vickerman and the Melbourne United coaching staff. Last couple of days, they were having a bit of a dip at the base of a waterfall in Cairns. Lightning struck the river downstream, and they got zapped.
What?
So I'm pretty sure that's the type of thing that superheroes kind of get their superpowers from sometimes. So he might come out with like just extreme brain power. Who knows? They felt it. They got out of the water.
Smart move. Smart move. What, we're not congratulating him for getting out of the water, are we?
Well, they did all the right things. They did all the right things.
Jeez, all right, shout out. All right, top four. We are running out of time. Here we go. Predicted top four. Liam, there you go. Talk us through it.
Well, who have we got? We all got Melbourne, New Zealand, and Cairns. And so I've got the Phoenix. Corey's got the Hawks.
I got Sydney.
Cam's got the Kings back in there. I think the Phoenix are going to be... There's a bunch of teams that are going to be on that bubble.
That was the hardest thing for me to do when it comes to predicting.
Red Army.
Oh my God.
Come for us.
No.
So it's been 34 years.
Oh no.
When are they gonna learn?
And none of us have even given them a hope. Now, I do have a hope in now. I think that they're going to be on that bubble
right there
with the Hawks and Brisbane and Sydney and Southeast Melbourne and all those kinds of teams. But yeah.
I've put Sydney in on your advice. You told me Xavier Cooks is not out for the season. So as long as he gets going at some point, I think Sydney are kind of being slept on just a little bit, because I think Xavier Cooks, hopefully, and I touch wood for the big man, he can get back to form, and I think it helps him a hell of a lot. So
I think the Hawks
I'm blaming you.
I think the Hawks get that fourth spot. I never discount Brian Gorge. And I know you guys aren't.
No way.
I'm not saying you guys are, but I believe they have the crew and the experience as that coach to figure it out.
The level of disrespect from this show to the two-time defending champs, the greatest organization in NBL.
You didn't even put them in there.
No, but look at the backdrop.
Yeah, hang on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, hang on.
Can we get some Wildcats love in the house?
Yeah, firstly, I agree. We raised this. We don't have anything to do with this. This is not us. I know we're fronting it, and we get the abuse. This ain't us.
Yeah, and can just quickly before we go,
we
all reserve the right to reassess that if Bryce Cotton gets those citizenship.
Well, if he gets the citizenship, had he have had the citizenship, I would have had him in.
Facts. But they don't have it.
No, they don't.
We can't talk about what could be or what may be.
All right.
We got to talk about what it is.
Hey, living up to our name, we are pushing overtime here, so let's get to round one. Finally, it is here. Only a couple of sleeps away. Adelaide and Melbourne are kick-started. Of course, Brisbane and the Hawks, which was the announcement late yesterday. Cairns and Sydney to go at it. It's how... Well, they opened the season last year in Cairns together, and Sydney only just scraped over the Taipans, and we thought, geez, the Taipans played pluckily. That was okay, and then it turned into what a great year it was. Adelaide again against the other Melbourne team, and Cairns at home to the Hawks. What game are you most looking forward to?
Cairns, Sydney.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
For me, Saturday night at the Armoury, the GOAT is back in the league. It's been 11 long years. Welcome back, Brian Gorge.
It's exciting. Is it hashtag NBL Overtime to get involved at NBL? Couple other things, but just for, like, can you believe we're actually like there are fans? Think about how frustrated we are as fans. The players, the coaches, the support staff, everyone who works at these clubs, head office, of course, at the NBL. Oh, we're ready to go. No, we're not. Oh no, just finally, we're 3 days away. I do touch wood because God knows what's going to happen, but we are ready to go, and it is so exciting.
Don't want to end on a downer, but just want to throw some love out to the Cairns Taipans and the whole family of that organisation. The sad passing of Ross Moller up there, who has been a big part of that club for a long time, a board member, a sponsor, and a fan of the show, we're told. So much love to everybody out there, and our condolences.
Very well said. Now, before we do end the show, I've got an idea. You know, yes or no this week, and I'll save it for next week, but I want to bring this up. I've been thinking about this. You know, I don't really have much in my life outside of wacky ideas. and it's probably maybe not the year to go with it. But since we're all going to be together in the NBL Cup, all the players are going to be essentially under the one roof, it is time for an NBL All-Star game to be brought back. This is the year. We're all together here in Melbourne for a month. Yes or no? Should we really start to push NBL All-Star game after the NBL Cup?
I agree. That would be incredible.
Liam?
Hashtag see incredible.
This is not the year, Cam.
Why?
It's
Why?
so hard
We're all
to get
together.
these games played
We're all
right now.
It's only one game.
Do you know how tight the schedule's going to be
Look at
in
this.
the cup?
Look at this. You ready? You ready? Gotcha. See ya.
Peace.